先生、変なところでヘタレですしね。
俺だって A ランク冒険者の端くれ。二言はない。
あんまり関係ない。
ですね。やっぱり先生は少し変ですよ。
あらあら、うちの温泉はいつから
A Rank Party episode 14, and this episode was pretty good. Definitely, of course, I think the highlight of the episode is once again just Yuke getting closer to both Rain and getting closer to Silk and seeing more of the Rain storyline. We know at this point Rain has been summoned by her biological father, and there's some stuff happening with the king of Semidonia, something with the S, or one of the princes from there. And now one of the prince wants to conquer all of the Clover Party so he can claim all the women for himself for no apparent reason. So what this basically means is that if Yuke and Rain didn't solidify their marriage already so that he could claim her as his property, he now needs to do that for both, or for all of them, for Rain, for Silk, for Marina, for Nene, and potentially even Rune as well if she's going to stay in this world. And all of that is way more interesting than this other one gold story that's happening, in my personal opinion. I've shared with you guys before, I'm really into the Lady Persephone stuff and the curse and finding out more about that. I think that's a really cool storyline. I also really love just Yuke navigating his relationships with Silk and Rain and Marina and Nene and Jamie and now Rune. I definitely really enjoy seeing that quite a bit too. Now, within that category, stay with me, I don't quite enjoy Yuke being big old virgin boy. He always claims being their senpai, being older, being more mature, being more blah, 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 being more. But when it comes to him just being a man for a moment with girls who are obviously very much into him, in love with him, giving themselves to him, he becomes allergic to them. And as you guys know, if you've been familiar with the channel for a long time, one of my most annoying factors when it comes to why I stop watching certain anime, or at least why I don't come back to them if they ever get a season 2 or 3 or 4, is when you have these MCs who are allergic to women, male MCs specific. On the women's side, when you have female MCs, they don't tend to have this problem with their male counterparts. Now, at certain points, they may get flustered or over excited, but for the most part, the female MCs tend to do a lot better in love and romance. They handle it more like real women would, as opposed to the male counterparts where they don't handle it like a male really would. Now, I get being flustered, being overexcited and stuff like that, but here you have two women throwing yourselves on them, wanting you to accompany them to the onsen or the hot bath, whatever it is, the hot springs. And they are expressing all this stuff. You know what I mean? It's not like Yuke as the main character, the male character, is the one trying to initiate the stuff, and the girls would be like, no, it's very much the opposite. So they're basically, having a door wide open. They're just saying, hey, can you walk through this door with us? I genuinely don't like that. And you might say, well, then just don't engage with that part of the show. Well, my problem with that idea is I don't mind if there is an allergic MC, but when the harem or romance or when that kind of category of thing happen within the show isn't constantly pushed into our face and it's mentioned here and there once in a blue moon. But when it's a constant reoccurrence of a theme within the show and you constantly have to deal with a MC that's running away or having to do something or begin sweating at the girl's touch or, refuses to touch them or refuses to engage in any acts with them or, all the different things that these male MCs written by Japanese authors are, that's when it becomes bothersome. And for me in this show, one of the themes of this show is harem. It is a action adventure romance harem anime. The theme is harem. And when you go look at my anime list or life chart, you can see that it's literally categorized as a harem anime. And it's like, if you're going to be a harem anime, have an MC who is part of said harem, not one that's constantly like allergic to these characters. And if you're going to write one that's completely allergic, like I said, back away from it and don't constantly push it in the viewer's face if the character's not going to do anything with it. Like, I'd rather just not have that be part of the show whatsoever, because it gets really annoying really fast. And as you guys hear in my voice, I'm creating a 3-minute rant about this, which means like it's just one of the things I hate about this show. Again, I love him getting closer. I love the relationship building. I love him going on dates with Rain. I love him defending Rain. I love him getting closer to Silk, who's kind of the next up. I can't wait to see as he's going to become closer to Marina. I can't wait to see how he's going to become closer to Nene. But then when you actually have anything that has sexual innuendos, whatever, even if it's kissing or holding hands, very subtle things, he becomes this character that's repulsive to me. I just don't really want to... I don't want to engage with it, but I have no choice because it's shoving that content into my face. So that really does diminish the show for me quite a bit, and it diminished this episode a little bit as well, too. So even the thing I loved most about this episode, I kind of hated in the same respect. Although he was able to, I guess, hold their hands for a quarter second, so maybe that's a win. I don't know. But yeah, so that's kind of how I feel about that. And then when it comes to all the 1 gold and the king stuff, you know, the king was granting a wish at the end of the episode. And apparently he's like the skeleton of the king. And they got to go destroy the 1 gold so it doesn't do whatever. I don't care about this storyline. So overall, I think this episode was a 6 out of 10. I think it was a good episode. You know, again, good in the context of this show. I think the show has kind of fallen off a cliff for me a bit. And I kind of go back and forth, like, do I watch it? Do I not watch it? But I'm committed at this point, so I'm just going to finish watching this effing anime. But 10 more episodes left, and yeah, I hope Persephone comes back. I definitely do want to see him take ownership over the girls. I know that sounds really, really bad to say, but that's what needs to happen so he can protect them and marry them and whatever else. I want to see what's going to happen with the Rain storyline. But the 1 gold and the rune stuff and the other world stuff, I think it's not very well thought out, in my opinion. I don't like it very much. I think it's a blight on this show. So 6 out of 10 is where I'm at for the show overall and this episode. I know I'm a little bit negative, but I did enjoy it. It's just not, you know, it just is what it is. All right, my friends. It's like playing through a game that you're like, man, it has so much potential. I'm 20 hours in, I might as well just finish it now. It's kind of like one of those scenarios for me right now. So anyways, I'll see you guys next week for episode 15. Hopefully my negative Nancy attitude wasn't too much of a blight on your enjoyment of my videos. And happy Easter, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.